All right, Shalom, is Brother Zakari from the Israelite Report podcast. I want to say all praises due to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shai. Peace and blessings to all the brothers spread across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth and sincerity. I want to play this clip right quick. This devil, I've been researching this devil, Yuval Noah Harari. A lot of you have heard of him already. But this guy is real prideful, man. And just the things that he be saying. Matter of fact, let me get this right quick. This is from Breitbart. It's from August of 2022. It says WEF advisor Yuval Harari. He basically says we just don't need the vast majority of the population in today's world. Now, the scripture that come to mind is, unless those days be shortened, except those days be shortened, no flesh shall be saved. Because if this devil had his way, if this devil had his way, man, we'd all be destroyed. So this is how you know time is winding up, man. And things are getting turned up, heated up. Things are moving real fast. When you have these elites coming straight out and telling you this without even fear, you know what I mean? That's because they really believe in what they're saying, and they don't even care how people feel about it no more. And they know that there's going to be rebellion, but they don't care. Even when they try to push that MOTB, they don't care, they don't fear, they don't care. They're going to try to push that mark anyway, that RFID chip. But it says here in Breitbart, and I'm going to read this right quick before I get the clip. It says Yuval Noah Harari, historian, futurist, and World Economic Forum advisor, said we just don't need the vast majority of the population in the 21st century given modern technologies. So what he's basically saying is that, we're done. You people are nothing but serfs, slaves, and we don't need you anymore. And he's speaking for the elites because there are elites that are above him, right? And he's a so-called small hat himself, so he's in there. Plus, he's at the World Economic Forum, so you know what time it is. But this man's, man, these devils are bold as hell, right? He says we just don't need the vast majority of the population in the 21st century, given modern technologies rendering human labor economically and militarily redundant. Okay, his remarks were made in an interview with Chris Anderson, the head of TED, for TED Talks. TED published on that Tuesday. He assessed widespread contemporary disillusionment among common people as being rooted in a fear of being left behind in a future run by smart people. So in other words, the elites are saying that, they're greater than you, they're smarter than you. Says such fears are justified, he added, given his projection that emerging technologies will displace economic needs to many categories of existing work. So they're going to put you people out of work and make you take the chip. And you will not be able to buy or sell, okay? Right now, and I told people, with this pop shot, I told people that you ain't seen it yet. You ain't seen the MOTB yet. If you're still able to buy or sell, you're not there yet. But you're getting there. That was a practice run, okay, a test run, a dry run. If you've been in the military, and I have, they perform many exercises, okay, before they go through with the real thing, okay? 2020 pandemic and lockdown, that was nothing but a test run, a dry run, to see how people would react. And they saw within the first couple of months, people go crazy. People buying up toilet paper, people buying up food, water. People lost their mind, and they got what they wanted out of that. They got the data. So they know what to do the next time to bring even more terror, because the Lord put it in their heart to do this. Says a lot of people, since they are being left behind and left out of the story, even their material conditions are still relatively good. Says the 20th century was common to all the stories. The liberal fascists, the communists, is that the big heroes of the story were the common people, not necessarily all people. But if you lived, say, in the Soviet Union in the 1930s, life was very grim. And they're going to bring that here. They're trying to bring that here. So I'm not going to read all of this because it's a pretty long article, but you get the gist of it. You get the gist of it. He's basically saying that technology is going to render most of you, technology is going to render most of you basically useless and unneeded, unwanted and unneeded. This is the speaking of the elites. So he's speaking for the elites, and he's telling you exactly how they feel. Okay, but I got this clip here that I want to play, that I want to share, of Harari basically saying they're going to build an ark. They can build an ark if the flood come, right? Because he's mocking the Most High, right? And he's supposed to be a small hat. You know, they call themselves the chosen people. Allegedly, that's what they say, right? But he's mocking the Most High and saying if the flood come, you know, they can build an ark, you know. So he's being a real smart ass. But I just want you to hear this clip and hear the pride in this man.
You have a small elite that pushes things in its own interests, even if it doesn't benefit the vast majority of the population. This has happened so many times previously in history, and it's probably going to happen again. One of the biggest dangers to the planet today is this technological utopia, because probably for the elite it will work. If bad comes to worst, and when the flood comes, the scientists will build a Noah's Ark for the elite, leaving the rest to drown, the rest of the people and then the rest of the ecosystem. But they are likely to be able to construct this technological Noah's Ark, which is probably what much of the elite is counting on.
All right, so you can hear the pride in this dude, man. And again, he's speaking for the ultra elites. They believe nothing can stop them. They have that attitude. And this is the same guy, and I spoke about it before. It's the same guy that basically said that we can make God as mad as or as angry as we want, and we don't care. That's what he said. Okay, so they have that pride in their heart. And I want to get Obadiah 1:3 says, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? And they're saying that in their heart right now. That's what this devil is saying. That's what all of these supposedly super elites are saying, you know, because they believe they really are gods on earth. They believe that they are the elites. That's why he has this attitude like he can just speak about getting rid of people when there's nothing, you know. He's saying things like we don't need the vast majority of the population of the world. You know, that's great pride, you know. Pride cometh before the fall. But they're very powerful. And they have that attitude because they've been ruling for so long, which really is not a long time because 1,000 years is one day to the Most High. But in his heart, right, in his heart, he really believes that he is elite. He believes that he is God. That's why he can make statements like, we can make God as angry as we want, as often as we want, and we don't care. He can say that because the Lord have given him this time. You know, the Lord has allotted them a certain amount of time to do what they do, right? Yeah, so the pride of thine heart have deceived thee. And that's the key thing right there. It has deceived thee. It says the deceived and the deceiver are his, right? The pride of thine heart have deceived thee. The Lord deceived them. It's the Lord that did it. So when you look at it, don't even marvel at it. Just look at it and understand what you're looking at. Because you would say anybody with common sense that fear the Lord, well, first of all, fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom and knowledge and understanding, right? And they don't have any. They only know to do evil because they were programmed that way by the Most High. The Most High created evil and good. He created good and evil, right? So it's ultimately the Lord that did it, to put that spirit on them, all right? It says, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwelleth in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, right? And you see Esau with these with these big what is skylines, you know. They always up what's the word I'm looking for? They're obsessed with space, going into space, you know. Can't tell Esau nothing, man. Not now. They feel like they rule the world, and at this moment they do. But it also says that Esau is the end of the world and Jacob is the beginning of it that follow. So, you know, let them have their moment, man. This is their moment to shine, okay? Because it's about to be up, man. The Lord going to allow them to get but so far, then he's going to bring them down. It says, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high, that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? That's what he's saying, you know? That's what he's saying. He's saying when the flood come, we're going to build an ark. That's how prideful. He just dismissed the scriptures, you know, and whatever he's saying, like the flood, like it's going to be water again, you know. But the Lord's going to bring fire, man. He's going to bring fire. These devils are proud as hell. It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest amongst the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So the question is, who's going to bring me down to the ground? That's Esau speaking in his heart, right? But the Lord is saying, though thou exalt thyself, and they exalt themselves in every way possible, physically and mentally, right? Because they physically build these big skyscrapers, and like I said, they're always in the air. You know, they got the greatest air force in the world. They're obsessed with space, always trying to launch another space shuttle every time you turn around. You know, they're big on being up in the heavens. You know what I mean? That's Esau's pride. It says, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars, thence will I bring thee down, saith the Lord. So the Lord answered his question, you know. Says, if thieves came to thee, if robbers by night, how art thou cut off? Would they not have stolen till they had enough? If the grape gatherers came to thee, would they not leave some grapes? It says, how are the things of Esau searched out? How are his hidden things sought up? All the men of thy confederacy have brought thee even to the border. The men that were at peace with thee have deceived thee and prevailed against thee. They that eat thy bread and have laid a wound under thee. There is none understanding in him. That's why they're so prideful. Like I said, fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Right? But they have none of those things. They have none understanding, as the scriptures say, Obadiah 1:7, right? Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom? That includes you, Harari. You know, you're so puffed up with pride, man. You know, and I've been getting on this devil all this week, really the past 2 weeks, man, because this devil was full of pride, man. And he got the nerve to be standing in our seat, claiming that he's our people. He's a small hatter. His name is Yuval Noah Harari, you know, and then got the nerve to mock the Lord, talking about if the flood comes, we can build an ark, you know. I mean, this guy's very prideful. He is the epitome of an Edomite, the epitome of a proud, wicked Edomite, man. If the Lord didn't shorten the days, no flesh would be saved, man. You know, and that's why we know things are speeding up, because this devil is coming down with great wrath. And I hate to be repetitive and redundant, but it's the truth, man. You know, you got to keep pushing. You got to keep pounding that, man. You know, keep grinding that thing. You got to keep pushing that thought into people's mind. This ain't the time for, you know, how to find you an Israelite wife. You know what I mean? I'll preach a sermon on how to be a better husband. This ain't the time for that, man. Things are picking up fast. You know, we got to keep pushing this thing in. The devil is coming down with great wrath. He knows that he got a short time. You know, the ultra elites know what time it is. And they moving fast, man. You know, as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the coming of the Son of Man. You know, they did eat, they married, they did all these things. They were partying, having a good old time. Right? Until the flood came, until the rain, until it started raining. Then they knew it was that was their ass. They didn't know they were amongst the prophet until the prophecy came to pass. Right? 8th verse says, shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men? And the wise men meaning even the ultra elites of Esau, right? Even the so-called what do you say? How you say it? Technically advanced, the geniuses of Esau, you know, the people that everyone marvels at and stare at and look at like they're so great, like they're the elite of the elites. You know, even they will be torn down, man, broken down. Shall I not in that day, saith the Lord, even destroy the wise men out of Edom, and understanding out of the mount of Esau? And thy mighty men, O Teman, shall be dismayed, to the end that every one of the mount of Esau may be cut off by slaughter. For thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. And that's the part they don't want to talk about. They always want us to talk about love, love, love. God just loves everybody. They want us to stay in that spirit, that old Negro spirit. All right, but the Lord is coming down, man. You know, to visit these people. You know, you see the angels are the powers, the so-called UFOs, the chariots. They're visiting this place, and it's got the elites a little bit shook. You know, but you know, it's a beautiful thing, man, and I like to see this devil all proud. I like to see it. You know, let's have more of that. You know, keep pushing, Esau. Keep pushing. The same way we keep pushing his word, Esau, keep pushing. Keep pushing, Esau. Go ahead, man. You big bad Esau. Do your thing, man. You know, we want you to keep on fulfilling prophecy. Go ahead. Go ahead, Esau. You can do it. I'm cheerleading you, man. Keep going. Keep pushing. Every day, this is a reminder that we are at the end. Because, you know, sometimes you get vexed in the spirit and we wrestle with this flesh. But when you hear these devils speaking powerfully about how they want to cut off a certain amount of people in the world and they're going to starve everyone out and everyone's going to take the chip, and they talking about transhumanism and they're going to reimagine the world and all this kind of craziness, I get reminded that this thing is almost over, because they wasn't doing this 20 years ago. Not out in the open like this. No. No. It's become a common thing now for the elites to tell you to your face what their plans are. And it used to not be like that. But they're open now. All right? They're open now, and I love every minute of it. All right, Shalom, it's Brother Zakaria from the Israelite Report podcast. Want to say all praises due to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushua. Peace and blessings to all the brothers spread across the four corners of the earth, pushing the truth and sincerity. More news. This is like deja vu all over again. And I don't know what's going to come of it, but best we can do is watch and pray, you know, fast, pray, and just have faith, man, you know, because we are not in control of this thing. This is the Most High's movie. This is what the Most High is doing. The Most High is bringing plagues. He's bringing plagues in this place, man, and really all over the world. Speaking of which, panic buying mayhem in, I think it's Chengdu, China, goes viral after the city plunged into lockdown with shelves wiped bare of essential items. And this is coming from Sky News. Scenes of desperate residents scrambling to hoard essential supplies in China are going viral after a snap lockdown in a major city of more 20 million people was announced following a spike in the CV. You know what I mean by the CV, the virus cases, right? So they had a snap lockdown, and they just torturing those people in China, man. Even through 2021, not 2021, excuse me, 2022, this year, believe it was in Shanghai, they were having snap lockdowns, weren't letting people leave their apartments. They was trapped in these little tiny spaces. I reported on this before. You heard me speak on it if you listen to the show. So yeah, man, they're putting these people through it, man. And the reason why I said deja vu is because remember, the last time we had a lockdown here in the U.S., where did it come from? It came from China, right? As Trump said, it came from China, right? So who knows, man? Matter of fact, while I'm thinking about it, because I'm going to forget if I don't get it right now, let me get I had this news story on deck for a while now, but it's a new virus that was found in China, and it came from Yahoo News. It says China has discovered a potentially fatal new virus that is believed to have been passed to humans by shrews, according to reports. It's called the Henipa virus, known as Lengya, has already infected 35 people, although no one has died or suffered a serious illness, says Taiwan's Center for Disease Control. 26 of the patients have reportedly been hit by flu-like symptoms, including fever, tiredness, cough, headache, and vomiting. So this devil is just coming up with all kinds of stuff, man. This devil is busy, man. He's active. That's why we don't have time to be playing around, man. We don't have time to be playing around, because at any moment, this devil can force another lockdown. Now there's going to be rebellion here in America. All right, they did eventually rebel in China because people were sitting in there. They didn't even talk about it on the news here. But I follow everything that's not mainstream media. But I actually seen the videos, man. People were begging in China. People were begging, man, for food. You imagine sitting in your little tiny space apartment and you don't know when your next meal is gonna come. That's what was happening, man. I think this was like in May. And I reported on this before. If you listen to the show, you heard me say it, If you listen to that particular episode. I may have brought it up more than once, But so they're definitely doing a test run over there. It says the images and videos. Wait, hold on. I didn't get this part. Chinese authorities announced the snap lockdown at midday on Thursday, giving residents 6 hours before the stay-at-home orders came into effect. Can you imagine that, man? You go to work, you get off, or you're at work, and then all of a sudden you hear you got another stay-at-home order out of nowhere. It's a snap lockdown. It's not like they knew it was coming. That's what they're doing to those people, But here in America, it's going to be crazy. When they try that mess here again in America, it's going to be all kinds of uproar, especially coming from the political right, the conservative right. Yeah, they're not gonna go for it this time around. That's gonna cause all kinds of chaos, man. And Jake is stupid enough; he'll be in it too. It says the images and videos being posted online show locals scrambling to hoard fruit and vegetables, poultry, red meat, and seafood, wiping shelves completely bare. Ooh. Man, we are living in some times, aren't we? Yo, man. Says drivers were captured filling their cars to the brim with slabs of meat and were even captured fastening dead chickens to the roofs of their cars. Look, man, can you imagine what it's going to be like when things get really shut down here and we have a real food supply shortage? Can you imagine? Because, they're killing these animals, man. They're killing them. Poisoning them. There was like thousands of dead cattle, I believe. I can't remember. Was it Wyoming? I forget where it was, man. Salakia. I can't remember where it was at. It was a couple of months ago now. But can you imagine if they just all of a sudden say, we got a food supply shortage and you're not going to be able to buy food for weeks? Hey, man, anything can happen, man. We've seen that in 2020. Anything can happen. Getting back to this article, again, this came from Sky News. It says, footage also shows mayhem on the city's streets as people swarmed to local shops and markets to stock up on necessities, while other images show fridge and freezer doors completely off their hinges amid the chaos. It says under the lockdown rules, one member of each family is allowed to leave the house each day to buy essentials. Let me say that again. Under the lockdown rules, only one member of each family is allowed to leave the house each day to buy essentials, but only if they can show a negative test taken within the last 24 hours. And you telling me we're not in the end times? Here's the thing. Jake, stupid ass, think things are going back to normal. They don't understand that what the elites do, they'll use places like China, Australia, where they don't have guns to test them, to see how that go, and then they'll implement it here in the West, or I should say, here in the United States. And what they'll do, this is how you know they're about to bring something to the U.S. They'll do it in Canada first, right? They'll do it in Canada first, see how that go. If that don't go the way they wanted to go, then they'll back off from the U.S., right? Because Canada's is less violent than the U.S. I think they don't have as many guns. Problem they have with the U.S. is they have to tread lightly because there's a lot of, look, Edomites here got guns, man. They're not for play. Okay, but Esau do have the elites, they have their technology. The problem that they have, or the problem that they face, is that who's going to use them? You know, because right now, a lot of these Edomites, especially in the military and on the far right, they don't like this government, man. It's going to be uproars, man. Kingdom versus kingdom. You know, the middle class is pissed off at the elites, man, and you know, that's how this movie is playing out. And they're already talking about, oh, there's going to be violence, and you know, this is an election year, and that's coming up. So you got all this talk about civil unrest and civil war, and all these left-wing Democrat pundits are basically, what they're doing is they're throwing the conservative right under the bus and calling them insurrectionists. And a lot of these right-wing people, they're getting tired of this shit. You know, they're getting tired of it. They're getting tired of being called that, while the elites who are on the left, because that's where they are pushing that one world government agenda. Because basically the right wants to remain sovereign, while the left is coming under the orders of the UN, the United Nations. Right? So this kingdom is divided already, man. It's already divided. This thing is about to come down, man. And you know, that's why I say stay in prayer, man. Stay in prayer. This thing is going to get ugly, man. You know? And it was on my spirit, and I know I'm kind of like going out the way right now. I'm not sticking on topic, but I am on topic. I was walking home today, and something in my spirit was like, well, I know it was the Most High. Something in my spirit was like, you know, that whole 2020 was an alarm for the elect. That's what that was. That was for us. That was our warning. That was like, because we were all in that. We were all going through that, right? And we stood up. We stood strong. Those that were in the faith, you know, most brothers, I believe, that are truly in the faith, that probably, if anything, it built our faith up even more. Because, you know, we get happy when we see this kind of calamity, when we see it hit the fan, for lack of a better term. When we see it hit the fan, that bit we get built up off of that, man. You know. So, anyways, I'm sorry I went off a little bit and started getting off a topic, but it says here, it says the start of the new school year has been delayed and flights have been grounded. However, public transport continues to operate for locals who are allowed to leave their home for special reasons. China is the last large economy to still have a zero CV, the virus, policy, right? They got a zero policy, right? Anybody get the virus and they're locking everything down. It says stamping out a surge in cases with snap lockdowns, and mandatory testing. Restrictions are also being enforced in China's fourth largest city, Shenzhen, with subway and bus service suspended and restrictive work from home measures announced, as well as the major port city of Dalian, where residents were told to avoid unnecessary travel and work from home to stop the spread of the virus. And then they go into how Shanghai was plunged into a 2-month lockdown. And that's what I was talking about earlier. I said it was a couple of months ago, but it was Shanghai that was, I think it's Shanghai, that was plunged into a 2-month lockdown in April when terrifying footage of healthcare workers in hazmat suits forcibly removing CV-positive locals from their homes went viral. All right. So, folks, this movie is about to reach its climax, man. We about to get into the heart of this thing, man. We are in the eye of the storm. All right, I want to get these scriptures right quick. Man, whew. People don't think that can come back to the U.S., man, but it can. This is 2nd Ezra 15 and 12. It says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and the punishment that the Most High Power shall bring upon it. They that till the ground shall mourn, for their seeds shall fail through the blasting in hell, and with a fearful constellation. Woe to the world. Woe mean destruction, right? Woe to the world. And that's also a warning. Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh. And one people shall stand up and fight against another. All right. And I was just talking about how the left is always accusing the right of being, I'm talking about in politics, they're accusing the right conservatives of being insurrectionists, and the right is saying that the left are communists. So this kingdom is divided, right? It says, let me get that again. For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands. All right. So you saw this creep, sleepy, sloppy Joe Biden, with his little demonic speech that he gave with the red and the Marines in the background looking like Hitler, looking like an old, dusty, crusty, half-dead version of Hitler. All right. And, this is just a sideshow anyway, and it was demonic as hell. But, they're basically trying to rile up their political opponents, right? So they can do something stupid, and then they could, just like the January the 6th thing, right? It says, for there shall be sedition, all right, among men, and that's what they're going to accuse us of. They're going to accuse us of sedition. That's why you have these agents, these Israelites, these niggas faking like they're Israelites, going around pointing guns and shit. COINTELPRO, as they would call it. All right. Says, for there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. And right now, nobody's regarding this guy Biden, man. It's like he don't even exist. Nobody respects this dude. He has the lowest ratings of any president ever. And that's with, what you would call it, bias polling, right? The polls are very biased for Biden. And even with that, he still has the lowest numbers of any president, man. Nobody likes this guy on the left or the right. It's just that the left has to justify voting for this dude, right? And but this is all just, this is the Lord doing, man. You know, even though the elite set him up to be in there, this is the Lord's doing, you know, because he's going to be the fall guy. But really, it's the plan of the elites to destroy all the nations and societies, right? But at the end of the day, it's really the Lord that's doing it. That's the beauty of it. See, the elites have it in their heart, the so-called elites, the wicked Rothschilds and Rockefellers and all that. They have it in their heart that they're doing this. This is a controlled demolition. But at the end of the day, it's really the Lord, because he's going to allow them to go but so far with it. All the way up until that point where they bring out that mark. You know? He's going to allow them to get just that far, man, where they feel like they're really in control. And like this asshole Harari, who believe that he's a god and he don't need God and this, that, and the third, and he's mocking the Most High. He's going to let them get but that far, you know, where they really feel it. And then he's going to destroy them. It says, for there shall be sedition among men and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. That's straight off the scriptures, man. What you hearing going on in China, that's right out of the book. That's right out of the scriptures, man. For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And when these riots, when these food riots break out, and people and hunger and thirst and want of all things, they're gonna be breaking into people's homes. They're gonna be doing all. They're gonna be tearing shit up, man. So get ready, you know. Get ready to be on the move. You know, that's why you got to remove your love of this world now, right? He that loves the world, it says, love not the world, neither the things that are in the world. He that loveth the world, the love of the Father is not in him. But there's a reason why that scripture is there. It's not just there just to be there. No, if not that love of the world is any man that loveth the world is enmity with God. I'm roughly paraphrasing. Get the love of this world out of your heart now, man. You know, I don't even allow myself to get deep into this shit. You know, I use the world, not abuse the world. You know, I use it for what people say, hey, man, why don't you want to go out and do that? I'll be like, man, nah, maybe sometime, but I ain't doing shit. Hell with this world, man. I've been over this place. It says, I hate this goddamn world, man. Every day I hate this goddamn world. Anyway, let me get back here. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled. Yeah, and there's a lot of proud spirits running around here, man. You know, you can't tell these niggas nothing. These Negroes think they are Esau. They're so caught up in Esau's system. You can't tell them nothing, man, especially these women. Boy, they're going to be in trouble when that day come. I can't even imagine. I'm just thinking like, man, they're going to bug the hell out. It says, for because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation, man. When them hunger pains set in, people will do anything, man. That's why there's so much killing in Africa, man. Let them find out you got something in one of them poor villages or one of them poor. Man, they will, what? They don't care if you got a gun, man. They're coming for you. Imagine what it's going to be like here in America where I think they said it's like 350 something. I forget how many guns they said are in America. I can't even, it's like 200 and, I forget. I think it's like in the millions, though, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's just as many guns as there is people. Something like that, man. It's something ridiculous. And that's not, imagine the guns they don't know about, right? Man, it says, behold, that's the 20th verse, says, behold, saith the Most High Power, Yahweh, I will call together all the things of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Libanus, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them, like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, right? Because we're still in the hands of our captors, right? We're still in the hands. They still have us captive. So will I do also in recompense their bosom. Thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh. It says, like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, right? Ultimately the elect, but all the whole nation of Israel. It says, so will I do also in recompense. Recompense mean to pay back. In their bosom, thus saith the Most High Power, Yahweh. It says, my right hand shall not spare the sinners, and my sword shall not cease over them that shed innocent blood upon the earth. So the Most High is going to send his son and the angels down for war, man. You know, plagues and all kinds of, you name it, man. You know, when the Lord get busy, the Lord get busy. This second Ezra's 16 and 36, it says, behold, the word of the Lord, receive it, right? Receive it. As the scripture says, seek him now while he may be found. Seek ye the Lord while he may be found. Right? Well, now's the time to seek it. And this scripture here, 2 Ezra 16 and 36 says, behold, the word of the Lord, receive it. Right? Believe not the gods of whom the Lord spake. Right? Don't serve no other gods, man. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack. And isn't that what we're talking about? As when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. All right, even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrows shall come upon it on every side. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle, and in those evils be even as pilgrims upon the earth. And we're going to have to move around like pilgrims. All right? You're going to have to be, that's why you're going to have to travel light, you know, just in case, man, because you might have to get up and go at any moment. He that selleth, let him be as he that fleeth away, and he that buyeth as one that will lose, right? Anything you have, you can lose it. You got to be ready to put it down, you know? Don't matter what it is, man, your friends, family, your woman, doesn't matter. He that occupieth merchandise, as he that have no profit by it, and he that buildeth as he that shall not dwell therein, right? Because nothing is going to be guaranteed in these days, man. Nothing, you know. It does say, my servants shall eat, my prophets shall eat. It says, he that soweth as if he should not reap, so also he that planteth the vineyard, as he that shall not gather grapes. They that marry as they that shall not, they that shall get no children, and they that marry not as the widowers. And therefore they that labor in vain. For strangers shall reap their fruits and spoil their goods, overthrow their houses and take their children captives. For in captivity and famine shall they get children. Right? And we went through that in slavery. Man, it's a lot, man. It's a lot. These are wicked times that we're living in. You know, Jacob's trouble is, whew, we're about to see some real trouble. And it's going to take great faith, man. You know, be ready to be mocked, to be scorned, told you're an idiot, and go through that all the way up until the real trouble comes. And when the real trouble comes, you're going to be vindicated, and these people are going to be looking around not knowing what to do. They're going to be looking for you, and you're not going to be there. I'm telling you, bro, when 2020 hit, I had certain individuals that were cleaving to me. See, I was the crazy one until the pandemic hit. There were certain people that would hit me up every once in a while. When the pandemic hit, oh man, hey, how you doing? I'm just saying, how you doing? Because they were looking for me to see what my attitude was. Because if I panicked, then they knew it was time to panic. Right. Plus, they wanted to hear, you know, was this biblical? Was this the end of the world? You know. And then as soon as the so-called pandemic was over, then they went back to doing their bullshit. And I swear to you, I lie to you not. I swear. No, I don't swear, Salaki. But I'm saying, I lie to you not. Just when the pandemic supposedly was over, here they come, you know, talk to you later. I was like, all right, go ahead. Oh man, go ahead. Yeah, it's over. You good now. You're in the clear. And they don't hear me thinking, but that's what I'm saying to myself. I'm laughing. I'm laughing to myself like, yo, you have no idea. You know, there's going to come a famine of the word. The time's going to come when they're going to need that comfort. And I'm not going to be there. You know, and you're not going to be there. The people that laugh at you, that mock you, that scorn you to death, that say you crazy, you know. Time going to come, man. They're going to be looking for you and you're not going to be there. They're not going to know what to do. All hell going to be breaking loose around them. And they're not going to know where to turn, man. You know, so keep your faith. Stay prayed up. You know, Lord, know that the Lord is with you. As long as you're doing what he told you to do, rehearsing the righteous acts. And just know that he that endureth to the end, the same shall be saved. You know, you don't want people speaking good of you in these last days, man. Woe unto them, woe unto you if people speak good of you in these last days. You want to be in a place, you know, you follow peace with all men, but you want to be in a place where, you know that you got a balance. You know, false balance is an abomination unto the Lord. So there's a balance to it. You know, you don't want to be too deep into the world, but at the same time, you want to be in a place where you can follow peace with all men. All right. But people will judge you unrighteously. You're gonna have to go through that side of it too. I go through it. People accuse me of stuff, and I don't even have to be anywhere around. And they'll say, "Yeah, he did it." I just be like, "Oh, really? Okay." That's what comes with it. But stay strong. Keep the faith. Scriptures say we are justified by faith. You're listening to the Israelite Report podcast, news and prophecy for the 12 tribes of Israel. You can visit my website at israelitereport.com.net. All praises are due to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shah. Shalom.